Alright guys, so just a little veggie garden update. We've got our steel raised veggie beds down the back of the yard now. We've done a whole big renovation on the yard, demolished a shed, moved it, ripped out lawn, put in new lawn, and we've still got our fruit trees along the side there that I put in a few years ago. But these raised veggie beds used to be in this location where the grass is. When we first moved in, the whole backyard was just all grass. It was nothing but grass, nothing but lawn. And I mulched everything, put in fruit trees, put in veggie beds. There was not a blade of grass to be seen. I wanted to absolutely get rid of it all because it was couch grass and very invasive. So I smothered it with cardboard and mulch, and now we're back to grass again. This is a buffalo variety of grass that I put in called Perennial Velvet. It's not as invasive as couch or kikuyu. I put it in about 6 weeks ago and it's just ready for its first mow now. You can see all the new growth coming up, and yeah, it's done really well. I actually used the topsoil for underneath this grass was actually the soil that was in the raised beds when they were here. So when we pulled up the raised beds and moved them, I just got a little digger and spread out all the soil that was in the raised beds, because it had been depleted a little bit and it was quite sandy, which is good for soil. We occasionally get a little potato popping up in amongst the grass, and I just pull it out. So it's done quite well. I also put down lawn fertilizer and some soil wetting agent as well when I was laying the turf. So over here we've got my perennial herb bed, or somewhat perennial herb bed. I've also got some cosmos growing in there, which is just starting to form little blooms, and the pea straw, which has been shooting up. I've just pulled down some of the shoots and they'll just decompose where they are and form a nice layer of mulch and provide some nutrients. I've got some lemon thyme, some sage, oregano, parsley and dill back here. I really love dill. I never used to cook with it, but now I use it quite a bit. And of course I've got some mint over there in a pot, which is staying out of my raised beds because it spreads like wildfire. And over here we've got some beans. This one's a king purple bean. And then we've got some scarlet runners, some yellow beans, and these will grow up and up and up and over this little trellis that I've made with some star stakes and some cable ties. And then beans on this side as well, which will grow up to meet them. Over here we've got some more herbs. So we've got little chives, some spring onions, a row of spring onions there, and then we've got some perpetual spinach, which we actually put in tonight's dinner. So this is just, you can just cut it and keep coming back to it. It's almost like silver peat in that way. And then more cosmos, which will bring in some beautiful pollinators. Over here I've got my 3 tomato beds. So I've got some tomatoes growing here. I'm mostly just growing a couple of varieties, some black cherries and some tomatoes. And then I've got some seedlings that my sister-in-law gave me. Here's one of my cosmos flowers. Look at that colour, isn't it pretty? And then more cosmos. Again, I've got it in almost every bed to attract some insects, and also just because it's beautiful. Over here I've got some overflow zucchinis, which I'll probably pull out to put in more tomato plants because I've just gotten some more seedlings. And look at that. Just a perfect example of what you want to see in the garden. Little ladybird coming in. They've been a bit slow this year. The aphids came a bit sooner, but I haven't been spraying this year. In fact, there's 2 ladybirds there. They might be having a little party together. So yeah, like I said, exactly what you want to see. So that's why we plant flowers, guys. Over here you've got some more zucchinis. Like I said, I'll probably pull those 2 out. They're looking like they're getting a bit of powdery mildew. They're a bit damp at the moment down there, so I'll keep these 3 and pull the other 2 out and put in some tomatoes. And then we've got basil, more basil, all these pea shoots coming up from the pea straw, which I have just been letting sprout because they're good for the soil, and I'll probably pull them out soon enough and just let them drop where they are and decompose. Over here I've got some lettuce. This is a little strawberry plant that I found sprouting in the corner of the yard somewhere. And then over here we've got some more lettuces and dill. This is a bit of an overflow from my herb bed. Over here we've got some coriander, which of course just goes to seed as soon as you get a day over 20 degrees here in Melbourne. It's just hopeless, but I do like letting it go to seed because the flowers are quite pretty, and I like the seeds too. You can let them dry or you can eat them when they're green, and they've got a really nice little punch to them. Over here we've got some sugar snap peas, and then another bug there that's on my cucumber. This is a Mexican mini gherkin cucumber. It looks like a tiny miniature watermelon almost. They're about the size of a grape. And then this is a Lebanese cucumber. So all these climbing plants will grow up and absolutely cover that climbing frame there. We've got more basil, more parsley, more chives. And then over here in these round beds, I've got celery in each of these beds. I could probably divide this up a bit more because it's a little bit crowded. And then here I'm excited for this guy. This here is an okra, which I haven't grown before, but I do like to eat okra. They're beautiful in curry, so that'll be really nice once it starts to fruit. And then here, another little ladybird. Look at that. Look at that little guy. Just excellent. They've arrived. The good bugs have arrived. And this one here is a California Wonder capsicum, and some more cosmos. I'll show you one of the flowers actually, because I just love them. They sort of float above the rest of the plant and they look so ethereal with this really spindly foliage. Yeah, so it's going to be brilliant seeing all of those come into flower soon enough. More celery, more capsicum, and yeah, that's about it for my raised beds. I've got a few more tomato seedlings to put in to these beds here. Got my passion fruit over there, which is just starting to bounce back after I hacked it up a few months ago, and it'll start to climb along this wall and soak up some of the heat, put out some flowers and hopefully some fruit. Yeah, soon enough this whole garden bed will just be absolutely bursting at the brim. All right guys, happy growing.